Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy 48-hour romantasy-a-thon. I hope that you're
Woo!
excited. I have Katie with me. Katie from
Hi
Katie's Book.
everyone, I'm super excited.
Sorry if you can hear JMO whining in the background. He's like, "Oh my gosh, we're going live."
Honestly, my dog will probably make noises at some point in this video too, so it's fine.
Let us know in the chat what you're going to be reading. Katie, what are you going to be starting off with?
I am going to be starting off with Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. So this one is about she's a witch and she wants to get accepted to a coven, so you have to do some sort of quest. And while she's flying there, something takes her plane down. And like when she uses her magic to save the plane, she awakens a demon that thinks that she is his dead wife. So it sounds pretty intricate and cool.
Love that. Oh my gosh. That sounds really good. I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah, well, Laura Thalassa is well known for her Rhapsodic series and the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse series. So I feel like this one is like newer and not many people know about it.
Well, you'll have to let us know your thoughts as you're reading
I will. And look, I got this spicy print with it, semi-spicy print.
Oh my gosh, stunning.
Yeah, I saw that, I was like, I'm intrigued.
Wait, did you get it from a book box or something?
From Bloom. They sent me I know someone that works there, so I get a lot of stuff sent to me.
Oh my gosh, lucky duck. Okay, I don't think I've ever heard a more stunning TBR. Assassin's Blade, A Dowry of Blood will probably make you cry.
Yeah.
Blint.
I feel like all three of those books will make you cry.
Yeah, that's true. The Assassin's Blade, that might make you cry as well.
I actually haven't read the Plated Prisoner series, but I've heard it's like trauma all the way through. So I feel like it could just be more crying.
I read the first book and I DNF'd it at 50%, but I kind of want to go back to it because I've read another series by Raven Kennedy. And so now I kind of understand her writing style. And like typically in her first book, it's a lot of setup and like not a lot happens in terms of romance. But everyone loves that series so much, the Plated Prisoner series, that I'm like, maybe I should give it a second chance.
I've heard that in that series, like the second book is where the romance actually starts.
Yeah. Hi, Kimberly. Welcome. Hi. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. That's the second book in the...
I think that's, Serpent and the Wings of Night. Have you read that series yet?
I have it. It's like sitting right next to me, and I've been saving it for fall. I think I got it for my birthday, but I've been saving it because it's vampire-y, and I was like, that's going to be really great for September or October.
Yeah, now that it's like being traditionally published, I'm like, I might as well just like wait because I don't want to buy the indie ones and then not have the rest of the series match it. It's like my personal pet peeve. So I'm like, maybe I'll just wait for like the Trad Pub one. But I do want to read it eventually because, Daughter of No Worlds was amazing. So
oh my gosh, it was so good. And everyone says that Serpent and the Wings of Night is even better. And I'm like, literally how? Yeah. It was
I feel like I've heard it's like probably just has more like spice in it. It's probably more like maybe fast paced than Daughter of No Worlds. Cause I feel like that series is like more like slow burn, epic high fantasy. I mean, like it's insane. There's so many different things going on. So maybe this one's like more fast paced too, because it's like it's going to be 3 duets. So like you only get 2 books with each couple. So things probably happen faster. That's my take on from what I've heard. Yeah.
I've also heard that it's the same, like in terms of how emotional the War of Lost Hearts trilogy was. It's like the same emotional level. So
that
it will
makes me scared because literally reading that series, I went through so much.
I know, it was so traumatizing.
It's like thinking about like the start of the third book or like the end of the second book and the start of the third book. I was just like, this is just pain. It's just pain. And you're really in pain until the end.
Yeah. So 100%.
Yeah.
Hi, Nikki. Hi. Going to try to hunt a demon king. Tori made it sound so good. Okay, here's the thing. That series is a fun, silly, goofy time, but it's not amazing writing. So if you're down to just like vibe and have fun for like a silly romance, I hope that you really like it. And it's very witchy and demony, which is fun.
I feel like there's like always like a spectrum with fantasy romance where you have the ones that like don't really go into the fantasy, but they're like quick and spicy, and then you have the ones that are more like Carissa Broadbent that are like kind of very similar to regular fantasy, just like spicier. So
Yes.
there's a wide range going on in the
Yeah.
genre.
To Hunt a Demon King was like a good palate cleanser for me. It's like if you need
Yeah.
something to flip between something that's maybe you just read something that's heavier and very emotionally tolling, and then you can switch to Hunt a
Yeah.
Demon King. That's going to
Yeah,
be
right.
like a light, a light little palate cleanser. Hello. Thank goodness it's Friday. I know. I'll be reading A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab.
Oh my
Love
god, that
that.
book is so good. I have not
I
read
Go ahead.
No, I have not read that series since, like, 2018, and now that we're getting a continuation like, it was one of the first series I picked up when I got back into reading after college, and I'm like, "Do I reread it before the next book in the series comes out?"
Yeah, I need to read that series. So when I first got into reading, I read back into reading in like 2020. I read The
Mhm.
Near Witch by V.E. Schwab, and then very shortly after, I read Addie LaRue, and I loved her writing style, but I haven't read any of her backlist. So
Oh
for
my gosh.
September, I'm going to be reading Vicious and Vengeful because I own them and they've been on my shelves for so
So
long.
good. They're so good. If you just love well, like, especially the second book, if you just love the thought of, like, a woman just, like, literally stepping on men, like, that's the book for you.
Perfection.
Yeah. So I'm like I mean, I'm literally staring at it, like, I have a whole shelf of all of her books, so, like, clearly I like her as an author, but I definitely think the Shades of Magic trilogy is still my favorite of hers. It's
Okay.
just so good. Like, the world is so cool, and it's just so fun, so much adventure. It's great.
I feel like it's a favorite for so many people. I love her
Mhm.
writing so much. I need to read her backlist and prioritize that.
Yeah.
Doing a reread of the Throne of Glass series. Okay.
Oh.
So for my TBR, sorry, all of my books are like under this table that's right in front of me. I'm going to be reading Queen of Shadows. I'm reading the Throne of Glass series for the first time, and
Oh
this
my
is
god, for
on
the
my
first time?
yeah.
That was my favorite.
So this is on the TBR for this weekend. I'm not starting with it because I have a couple books, like shorter books that I want to get through. Usually with readathons, I find that it helps my motivation if I can get through a couple books like quickly and finish them. And then I
Yeah,
tackle the ones that are really intimidating to me. I don't know why, because everyone says either Heir of Fire or Queen of Shadows is like one of their favorites in the series. This
yeah,
book has just been so scary to me that I've been like, not dreading to pick it up, like, I'm excited to read it, but I've been,
yeah.
like, scared too.
There's a lot of expectations on it, I think. How did you feel
Yeah.
about Air of Fire, though, compared
I
to the
loved it.
yeah,
Heir of Fire has been my favorite of the series so
yeah.
far.
I think there's, like, a big it's kind of like a tone shift in that 3rd book where you kind of are out of that, like, original court setting, and then you
Mhm.
kinda go outwards, so it expands the world a lot. But yeah, if you loved Air of Fire, you're gonna love Queen of Shadows.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think the other thing too is the first couple books, like The Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, yeah, all of those were on Libby for the audiobooks, but then
Oh.
after Heir of Fire, they're only on Audible, and I don't have Audible, and so I was like, I don't
Oh,
have the
yeah.
audiobook
No,
for
Audible is, like, too expensive for me. I'm like, $15 a month for 1 book.
For 1 book.
Mm.
I'm like, I will just use my
Do you
Libby.
yeah, do you have yeah, like, do you have, like, a library? Oh, because it can't go through the library because it's Audible exclusive, is that why?
Yeah, like, I think after Heir of Fire, it's only Audible exclusive for the rest in that series.
That's so rude. It's like they reel you in, and then
Yeah,
they get you.
yeah, exactly.
Mm,
But
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
look
we're gonna
into
read it this
yeah,
weekend.
okay.
Oh,
I'm,
you
like,
do?
literally seeing if it's at my library.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
other
they
thing
don't
too is my
that's
library card attached to my Libby, is still from Nebraska because I lived in Nebraska for a year,
oh.
and to be fair, um they have a really good selection. Like I have had no complaints,
Yes.
but I need to get a library card for LA because now I live in LA, and that way
So
I can have 2 on
yeah.
my Quibi account.
Yeah, like, that's, like, literally what I do is I go back and forth between all the libraries from all the different places that I've lived.
Yeah, that
It's
way
kinda
you
nice.
get, like, extra
'Cause
selection or
yeah.
maybe, like, less of a wait time or something like
Well,
that.
yeah, because the Boston, like, library system is obviously very big, so they have, like, a
Mhm,
good selection, but on the popular books, sometimes the wait is a really long time, but if I
mhm.
go to my Florida library card from where my parents live, is not a city, and there's, like, no wait, I'm like, "Yay, this is great." But they
Yeah,
obviously don't have, like, as many like, if it's, like, a book that's not super popular, they probably won't have it.
mhm. Yeah, you've hacked the system, I need to do that. Um, thank you for saying that you didn't like the first book in the Plated Prisoner series, but you're really enjoying Glint. That helps me wanna return to it, you know what I mean?
I think you should. I've heard good things. I feel like it's one of those things where you're like, "You just gotta get through book 1,
Yeah.
book 2."
Um,
This is a From Blood and Ash blanket. You probably can't see it that well, but
oh my
it's
gosh,
from
it's so
from
cute!
some box or other. I think it's from the Bookish box because that's the only box that I got a From Blood and Ash, like, edition from, so that would make sense, right? Yeah.
Also stunning that you have your
Oh,
Simply
yeah.
Modern
You
mug.
inspired me to get it.
Everyone
Literally
refill
was
your waters.
I'm obsessed with this thing. So perfect for drinking water.
I love the pink one too, it's so pretty. Nikki, you have 2 people here who absolutely loved Sorcery of Thorns. So this
Literally
was
I
yeah,
still think it's my favorite book ever.
it's so good.
So
And
good.
The Mysteries of Thorn Manor was just the cutest, coziest fantasy, like,
So
novella
I
ever.
still need to read it because I
It's so
wanted to reread Sorcery of Thorns first, and then I never got around to doing it, and then I never got around to reading Mysteries of Thorn Manor. But
I would say, like, you definitely don't have to. If you want
mhm.
to, I think it would just make it super cute because it's
Yeah, like
that,
I
like,
just
little
want to because I love
attention.
that book.
Mhm.
I have to turn on the light, so give me 1 second.
Okay. You're doing so good for the readathon already. I read
Ooh.
153 pages of Assassin's Blade and 122 pages of Glint and 60 pages into A Diary of Blood. You are killing it.
Yeah,
How
wow.
long has this readathon been going on for you? Like, what time did you start it today? I think that Katie and I are both starting it, like, as of
Yeah,
3 o'clock,
no.
like, when we started sprints. Hi, Laura. Can't decide if I want to start The Ashes and the Starker's
Ooh.
King or Children of Fallen Gods. Oh my
That
gosh.
is that is a tough choice because 'cause they're both by an amazing author.
I
Well, I've
know.
heard I think there is a book in between. I've heard, like, the Six Scorched Roses or whatever.
Mhm,
That
the
one's a
novella.
novella. Yeah, so you can read that one so that you have, like, a shorter book in the vampire one, and then you can go suffer
Yeah, that's
with
true.
Children of Fallen Gods.
Also, we have someone else in the chat who's reading The Ashes and the Starker's King, so you would have emotional support in the chat, but also Katie and I have both read Children of Fallen Gods, so, like, we could be your emotional support if you wanted to
True.
start that
Oh,
one.
someone, I don't think I can put up the comments, but Serena said that she's trying to decide between A Crown of Ivy and Glass, yeah, or Dreams Lie Beneath, and that's such a hard choice because those are literally 2 of my favorite books. It's so I would say Crown of Ivy and Glass veers more into the horror genre, like not like horror, but like gothic fantasy romance horror, whereas like Dreams Lie Beneath is like very like ethereal, pretty. So they're kind of two different moods. So I think depending on your mood, that would be how you pick.
Mhm. Yeah, what are the vibes gonna be? I had to look up this book, The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca
Ooh.
Flores. The cover on this is so pretty. Um, this is the cover. It's just
Oh,
like
yes.
hands, but it's so
Yeah,
cute.
it's like the sapphic, vampire book I've seen.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that sounds so good. Prayers to you, my friend. Blessings and prayers on your
Yeah.
emotional state. That book destroyed me. Um, The Secret History.
Ooh.
Also prayers to you, my friend.
Yeah.
That was, like, very big brain.
I've read none of those books.
Oh my gosh, Divine Rivals. I hope you love it.
I want to read that so badly because I love Rebecca Ross, and I haven't picked it up yet. But I did pick up the UK cover because I think it's so pretty.
It's so pretty. It's
This
so
was
much
literally
better, honestly.
I know. This was the last package I ever got from Book Depository because it closed. So RIP Book
Yeah.
Depository.
Oh my
But yeah, they
gosh.
haven't. I don't think they've shown like what the UK cover looks like for the sequel yet. So I'm intrigued.
I had to pre-order the sequel like right when I finished Divine Rivals because it ends on such a cliffhanger and I was so unwell.
That's what I've heard, and that's why I'm like, well, if the next one's coming out in December, I might as well just like wait and then just read them together. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so good though. It's so short. I was so surprised with it's like 330 to 50 pages.
Yeah.
But you get so much character development and you get so attached to the characters.
She is literally a phenomenal writer. She's a phenomenal writer. I love her. I've read her first book, The Queen's Rising, from way back in the day, and then I've read Dreams Lie Beneath, and they're both amazing. But I'm happy she's having like her viral moment because now more people can discover her and her amazing backlist.
Yeah, I need to read her backlist. I think I've had my eye on A River Enchanted.
Yes, I want to read that one too. It's like Scottish inspired, but I'm feeling like fall winter for that one. But I like in general love like Scotsman romance.
So, especially if there's an audiobook, I'm like, absolutely yes.
Oh my god, yes, when you read an audiobook and they have the accent and they do it well because sometimes they can't do it well. Like I'm like a pretty big Outlander fan and I actually listened to the audiobook, but there was like not a guy doing the voice for Jamie, so I was like, this isn't the same as like watching the show.
Yeah. Big sad.
Big sad.
Charizard, first of all, I love your name. I'm reading For the Love of the Gods. I hope you like it. I liked that romance. I just didn't like the miscommunication trope. I'm not a fan of the miscommunication trope. But everything else was pretty good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's reading Throne of Glass for the first time because everyone is like, oh my gosh, it's your first time. And I'm like, yes.
I feel like it really just depends like when you got into reading. Because if you were reading like while the books were coming out, I feel like you were reading it and like waiting for the next one. Whereas like now they've been out, so it's like not as much. Like it's still talked about a lot, obviously, but it's not like, oh my god, are you like ready for the next book? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of glad though that all the books are out because I would be even more stressed having to like wait.
When I read it, all of the books were out except for the last book. And I was in pain waiting for it.
I need to get more into Scribd. I think I downloaded it on my phone.
Yeah, I go back and forth with Scribd. I was using it a lot for a while, but I like go in and out of audiobook phases. Like I'm not always listening to an audiobook, but I found that Libby had mostly what I wanted to listen to, and then Scribd was good to kind of like fill in the gaps.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because for the most part, I'm fairly happy with Libby. But there's always those one where you're like, wow, I really wish I had an audiobook for like this one book that I'm currently reading or whatever it is. Yeah. Hi, Cassidy. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, Magnolia Parks. I'm so happy you're loving it. I loved that book. I feel like you either love it or hate it. And I was reading it with my friends who both hated it and like wanted to DNF it. And I was like, I'm literally loving this book so much. I read The Witch and the Vampire for a book club and got to chat with the author.
Oh, that's so cute.
Both vibes are intriguing. I'm going to read the first chapter of each and then decide. That's always a good
idea. That's a good strategy. It's a good strategy.
Oh my gosh, you started at 9.
Wow.
9:20 a.m.
9:20. For me, 9:20 is
so much good reading so far.
For me, 9:20 is like when I'm rolling up with my iced coffee if I'm like on time for the day.
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Angelina. Thanks for hopping on as well. I hope that you have a
Also,
wonderful
Cursed
birthday.
Faith, is that the fifth one? Good luck.
Oh boy.
That series is just like it's bonkers, and it like that fifth book ends like I literally think I threw the book across the room when I finished.
Oh my gosh. That's it. I want to start Zodiac Academy, but I've heard like it's crazy, but the writing isn't great, but it's like worth it. I don't know. I've heard like
It's
very mixed things.
you have to go in for a silly, goofy time and just
Mhm.
live. Like, know that it's not the best writing ever, but like you're gonna have fun because it's literally insane. That's only I read up to the seventh book, and then they the eighth book came out, and then they announced there was going to be a ninth book, and I'm like, well, now I'm just going to like wait until they're all out to like pick it back up again because getting involved in that world is like so there's so much happening, like the books are so long, but I'm kind of happy that I I binged it, and like it was a binge where I thought I was only going to read one, and then I literally couldn't stop reading them because they're just addictive.
Are they worth how long they are? Like, do you feel every page or do you get through them pretty quickly?
You get through them pretty quickly because there's just a lot going on. And you can I would switch back and forth between my Kindle and the actual physical book because some of them are so big. They were like so hard to hold. So I would just read on my Kindle, or like I would go to bed and I would just read it on my Kindle like after I was done sitting on the couch. So it definitely makes it go faster.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I That's an arm workout to hold up those books while you're
They're
reading.
literally so chunky. I think the seventh book, like they were having trouble on release day, like selling it because Amazon literally wouldn't publish a book that long, like with their physical book. So they had to change all the format. I
Oh
was
my
like, oh
God.
my God. So, like, yeah, is their writing the most refined thing? No, they could probably get the point across in much less pages, but you're just there for the silly, goofy times.
Mm. I'll probably read it eventually. I'm just scared with how long they are and how long the
Yeah.
series is too.
Yeah, I think I pretty much took a month where I like literally only read that series because it does take you a while to get through. Even though you're flying through each book, there's still like a million of them. So
Hmm. Oh my gosh. I'm also reading Voyager, Outlander, and the audiobook is also getting me through it. The girl does Scottish so well though. I feel you
yeah,
butchered
I
it.
can't. I don't know if like I only have listened to the ninth book. Right, it's the ninth book on audio because I read the other books like a way long time ago. But the accents were good. It's just not Sam Hewen doing them, you know, and that's what gets that's what gets me.
Yeah. What book did you start with for Throne of Glass? I've heard mixed things. Katie,
I
who
started
did you start with?
with Assassin's Blade, but I literally it gets people heated. I'm pretty sure I made a video about the reading order one time, like a reel, and like people were getting mad at me in the comments, and I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I also started with The Assassin's Blade and I liked it. I thought it
Yeah,
was I wasn't like upset that that was the reading order that I picked. I tend to
I
go with like publication order.
You can honestly read it first or read it in publication order. I really don't think it impacts your reading experience too much.
Yeah.
Either way. Yeah.
Audiobook for Children of Fallen Gods. Okay, I don't know if you listened to the audiobook for Daughter of No Worlds, but I listened to the audio for the last book, Mother of Death and Dawn, and I didn't love it because of some of the accents. It
Oh,
really
I remember you
hurt
telling
my
me
like
this.
immersion. Like it took me out of the story because the audiobooks have an English slash Irish accent for certain characters. And in my head, Katie, I think you and I talked about this. In
Yeah.
my head, the setting of the book is very like Middle Eastern slash Eastern European. And so it like really took me out of the reading experience that we were getting like Irish accents and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
because like Tasana's from like a desert nation, so I think more of like places where there's deserts. Whereas, well, I can't even say anything else.
Yeah.
um, yeah, for her, I didn't listen. I tend to not like cross. Like I don't usually pick up an audiobook if I'm reading a book physically. So I didn't pick up the audiobooks at all, but that would irk me certainly.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, Laura, if you care about that, but that's just my 2 cents.
Oh, yay.
Nice. They started making smaller font and changed from double space to single space for some of the later books. Oh my
Literally pulling out my like magnifying glass.
I would
Honestly,
rather just read it on my Kindle and have
yeah,
the font
yeah.
be whatever
I
size I want.
I definitely feel Zodiac Academy is good for getting you out of the slump because it's just so insane. It's just so
Yeah.
insane. And like you don't have to like the writing is very simplistic, so like you don't have to think about it. You just
Mhm.
read.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we're caught up in the chat. Do we wanna start our first sprint?
Sure.
Okay. I
Yay.
usually do 45 minutes. Is that okay for you?
Whatever you want. You are the leader.
Okay, we'll do 45 minutes. I like that I'm the leader. Okay, happy reading, everyone, and we'll talk in 45. Hello, hello. How'd we do?
I did good. I got up to page 60.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like kind of insane so far.
Really? Did it have a strong start?
Yeah, so like this girl Celine, she's a witch, and the covens are kind of like universities. But when she does magic, it like eats her memories. So she like carries around like notebooks and like writes down every little single thing that happens to her because she doesn't know if she's gonna like forget something. And they tell her that they're not gonna accept her unless she goes on like a magical quest. Because you need that to apply, and the one from before, I guess, like wasn't good enough, and she also needs to get a familiar. And then she is like on the plane to her quest, and there's like this force that's like trying to drag the plane down. So it was kind of like an intense start.
Oh
And
my
it's like
gosh.
it seems like it's going to be a mix of like an academia setting and like a more like traditional fantasy setting. So I'm like very intrigued by the setup so far.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good.
Yeah, I was really into it. I was like, oh, the sprints are almost over. It means I can put the book down. What the heck?
um, I read, I think like 50-ish pages. And this book is really good. It's funny because it's been on my shelves for a really long time, but I've
Mhm.
been meaning to get to it. It was a 5-star prediction for me. I think right now it's kind of like a 4-star, but they have to solve this mystery. The setting of the book is very like Italian inspired,
Ooh.
and it's like the leaders of the city are very religious. They believe in the seven faceless saints.
Mhm.
And our two main characters, it's a dual POV, are actually like very moral, and they're fighting for like the right thing, and they have to try to solve these really gruesome murders that are going on in the city. There's these bodies that are being found that have their eyes like taken out, and they have like dark, like it looks like they were poisoned, like there's darkness in their veins from the poison, and they have to figure out what's going on. And it's really interesting. Like the
Oh, that
story
sounds
is
so
so
cool.
good,
Do
and
you
it's
ever
lovers.
I was like, do you ever read a book and you're just like, how did someone think about of this? It's
Oh,
like,
like how did this come out of someone's brain? It's so
I
wild.
know, I know.
And I'm not usually a friends to lovers fan, but this was like childhood friends to lovers to enemies back
Oh,
to
you
lovers.
got
And
to throw a little bit of enemies in there, right?
yeah, I'm really liking
Yeah,
it.
good. How far are you in it now?
Um, I'm more than halfway. I think I'm close to like maybe 60%.
Okay,
I only have this much left.
solid. Oh, okay, solid.
Yeah, the audiobook is good too. I was listening along with the audiobook, and that's been good. Um, I have been
Oh,
binging Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac for the last 2 weeks.
I want to read that series. I just like know when I dig back into the Twisted Sisters, that's what they call like the two authors that write it. Like I just know it's going to consume me, so I haven't done it yet. I also want to get the new covers because they like redesigned them to kind of match Zodiac Academy, so I would probably get those and then read them. But that series is supposed to be really good because it's Why Choose, and it's like also the same kind of like fun academy setting.
Is it like a spin-off series of Zodiac
It
Academy?
I think it was first actually, but then Zodiac Academy was the one that got popular. Um, so yeah, it's like I think she's a vampire. So like in this world, they're all fae, but then you have like a secondary order. So like
Mm.
you could be like a fae that's a vampire, or you could be a fae that's like a shapeshifter. So things like that. Yeah. So you're like
Yee.
all the fae. So in this one, like I think it's the main girl's like a vampire, and then like one of the guys is I forget what it's called, but he has wings and he can tell the future. And one of them's like a lion shifter. And one of them is I don't know. I don't remember the other ones, but they have that one, and they also have one that is like an actual Zodiac Academy spinoff that like takes place in a prison and is also a white shoes. Yeah. It's like kind of insane.
Interesting. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
hadn't heard of that.
Yeah.
Listened to a little bit of Daughter of No Worlds and didn't like it. LOL. I'm physically reading Children of Fallen Gods. but not counting it for the readathon since I know I won't finish it in time. You can count the pages if you I don't know if you're tracking pages, but you're welcome to count it. You don't have to finish a book for it to count for the readathon. Hello. Was
Hi.
10 books from a library near my old school. Oh my gosh. I own all the Throne of Glass books, haven't read them. You're okay.
Honestly, I get excited when I see people reading it for the first time.
I think it's been a really fun experience. Like before I started reading Throne of Glass, people were like, the writing is so different. Like if you read ACOTAR first, you
Yeah.
definitely won't like Throne of Glass. And I've loved Throne of Glass. I've been having so
Yeah.
much fun with it.
I mean, you just have to know what you're getting into. It's just a different kind of series.
Yeah. Um, Finally sitting to read The Rebound, Chapter 5, and listening to Trace of Murder, 16% in. I may read a couple books. I'm a huge book
That
reader.
is my life because I also have my Kindle here with like another book that I might pick up. So.
Yeah, just like switching back and forth.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like nice if I'm reading something on my Kindle. Like if I feel like going to bed, I love just like curling up under the covers and reading in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I can't always like
Absolutely.
every book I pick up physically. Like I obviously can't always get the ebook for it, so sometimes I just have like another book that I'm reading on my Kindle like separately.
100%. Kindle reading is so comfy. It's
Yeah.
just unmatched.
It's literally the best, and it's so convenient. So I drive now, but I used to take the train, and like I would literally just sit on the train and read my Kindle every morning, and it was like great. I got so much extra reading time in.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Hi, Hannah. Read 68 pages of A Dowry
Ooh.
of Blood. So I'm on page 128. That was a good sprint for
I
you.
have I have that book too, and I do want to read it. And she's also coming out. The author's coming out with like it's like a sapphic dark academia book. I don't know if it's this fall or like it's like I think it's called An Education in Malice.
Yeah, I think I saw the cover for that.
Yeah.
Her writing is so good. Like, definitely read A Dowry of Blood. It
I
absolutely
feel
blew my
like it's gonna
mind.
be such a good one to pick up in the fall.
Yes.
So, because I feel like I'm just gonna spiral into like vampires and horror and thrillers in the fall.
Yes, 100%. It's so emotional. It's so good. 10% into Sorcery of Thorns.
Hope you're having the best time of your life.
Yes. Hey, I was able to read 3 chapters of Divine Rebels. I love how quickly yeah, that book reads so fast. It's like I get
Yeah.
sucked into the world and forget I'm reading, if that makes sense. 100%. Books that can make you like forget that you're reading, forget about your
Yeah.
phone. Absolutely.
Have you ever like for me, I just recall having this one time where this was in college, so I wasn't reading like a super lot. I would just pick up a book here or there. But I literally came home from a test, which we had our tests at night because why not just make us more extra miserable? Um, and like I just sat on the couch and for 5 hours straight read a book and didn't even get up to pee. Like I was so into it.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. Mm.
Page 13 of Steel King by Devney Perry. I need
I
to
like
read
Bethany Perry. I want to read her like she's a lot of like small town romantic suspense books.
Mm-hmm.
I read Ivy by or it's she has another pen name, but I read one of those books under
Mm-hmm.
that other pen name. But yeah, I've heard really good things about her small town romance books.
Yeah, I've never read a small town romance, but I know that they're like taking everyone by storm, taking the
It
book world
is
by storm. I really want to
amazing.
read like a cowboy small town romance.
Oh, you gotta read a cowboy one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely just start with like Flawless by Elsie Silver. It's so fun.
Yes. That's the one I've been seeing literally everywhere.
It's like it's everywhere for a reason. It's just, when we're out of our little fantasy romance weekend, definitely pick
Hmm.
that. This is so good.
Yeah. Ends up doing dishes and listening to The Very Secret Society of Irregular Wishes. I will probs finish it next sprint. I'm really enjoying it. I love that.
Yay.
I read that recently. I really liked it. I liked it once I got past the halfway point because then it starts to get more into the romantic bits. And I did really like the characters, but it was a very slow book, and I started to get much more invested once we started getting somewhere with the romance.
I feel like I've seen a lot of people say it's like very cozy.
Super cozy. Yeah, it's a very cozy, like witchy fantasy.
I would definitely probably pick that up like in the fall.
Yeah, it would be it'd be perfect for like fall, just cozy fantasy vibes. There are 3 series. Ruthless, Boys of the Zodiac takes place 5 years before Zodiac Academy, and then there's Darkmoor Penitentiary. That takes years. That takes place 5 years after. Okay,
It's like
interesting.
it's literally a whole world of insaneness.
How does this author have so many books? Like,
So there's two of them. So that's
oh,
why.
that's right. That's right.
And I don't know how much time goes into editing, so they just put them out.
Like immediately once it's done, post it.
Yeah, they probably have. I mean, they probably have like an editor, but it's not like a probably not as thorough of an editing process because at a certain point with KU too, right? Like with indie authors, sometimes it is a volume game because you get paid based on the amount of pages that people read. So that either like encourages indie authors to be releasing things really often or to make their books really long.
Yeah, I went through like a period of time where I just read a slew of like Kindle Unlimited, and all of them were 450 to 500 pages. And I had the same opinion about all of them where I was like, these were so mid and they could have been edited down and the story would have been so much better. And then someone told me that authors get, paid for pages read. And I'm like, but if you're not going to deliver like the best story that you could, like that's
Yeah.
where I have some
Well,
issues with
it's
that.
also like they have to pay for every round of editing. So like at a publishing house, they would probably like put it through a few times. Like I don't know the exact process that works, but I was also talking to someone that's like writing a book and basically like you can have an editor just do like grammar and like like typos and stuff like that, or you can have someone do like developmental story editing. So a lot of people are probably only doing the grammar editing, not realizing that maybe they need the story editing, or maybe it's like if you're just trying to make a name for yourself and your books are entertaining and people are going to read them because you're releasing them so often, then like does it have to be the top tier like in writing? But I do agree that a lot of times I like read a book and I'm like, I don't think it needed to be that long.
Yeah. You're so smart about like the whole editing process. I feel like I'm learning so much.
I have a like I mentioned my friend works at Bloom, so I just talk to her about it. So that's like how I know the inside scoop. Otherwise I would have no idea.
I feel like authors too can lean on beta readers. Like I know a lot of people get super excited to be beta readers. In that case, you don't necessarily have to pay, but then it's kind of like you have to really trust your beta readers
Yeah.
to give you good feedback or like criticism or how to make your plot better. So it's kind of a
I just beta read someone's book actually, and I was like, I don't feel qualified to do that. I'm gonna try my best. But
I
it
feel
was
like it's a lot of pressure. I don't know if I would want to do that.
I did it because it's a close friend, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it for many people.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But it is a lot of pressure. But I like thankfully her book was like already in pretty good shape. So it was really just like I didn't have like too many criticisms. It also wasn't a fantasy. So that I feel like
Mm,
the contemporary books, you probably need less developmental edits because I think for fantasy, you have to be more like comprehensive
yes.
about things. And I also think you have to keep in mind, like when you're writing it, like if you're bringing up a new element, it's like, is this introduced in a way that the reader is going to remember it? Because I find that sometimes in the indie ones, like sometimes things will be brought up and I'm like, where did this information come from? Like sometimes that's not clear.
Mhm.
So
Totally.
it's a very interesting it's very interesting reading a lot of indie and then reading like a lot of trad pub, like just how different it is. And
Yeah.
I think with indie, like sometimes it can be like, but sometimes there are indie authors that are like literally such amazing writers and you're like, how is there not a team of people editing this? Like Carissa Broadbent, I was like, she
Yeah.
is so good at writing. And so I think there's just a different level of like natural talent as well, or maybe people are paying more to have more rounds of edits. Like I don't know the behind the scenes stuff that goes into it. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Kindle Unlimited, I think this year more than any other year, I've really started to take deep dives into KU fantasy romance, and it's so funny because sometimes you know like what to expect if you're like, "Oh, I've heard that this writing style is really good," and then other times you're like, "Okay, this isn't like a literary experience, but the plot and the romance is fun, so I'm
Yeah.
like sticking
It
with it."
like sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like straight up like, okay, like let's get to the spice because that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
But like if an author it's such like an interesting balance though, right? Because an author needs to like entice me enough that I like want to look forward to the spice. Because
Yeah.
I've read some like fast burn where I'm like, I literally don't care about these characters. So like if they're having spicy times, like I'm not invested. So I
Mhm.
think there still has to be like some level of balance. Otherwise, I'm not going to care about the characters getting it
Yeah.
on.
100%. There's such a range, and
Yep,
it's
there's a range.
difficult to try to figure out, like, once you're, like, 100 pages in or, like, 50 pages in, you're like, "Oh, okay, this is, like,
Yeah.
this kind of author."
I've tried to do like more when I do wrap ups, like try and like say what to expect with the kind
Mhm.
of fantasy romance book because like you're right, like you can go into it and like there's a lot of different types it's like on this spectrum that you can kind of find.
Mhm.
But I do also think it's interesting with now a lot of them are getting picked up by TradPub that they're obviously like the caliber of it is going to improve because it's going to have like professional editors and stuff like that to go through. So I don't know. I think it's just interesting to see how the genre shifts because before this, like it was mostly ignored by publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and I feel like now Kindle Unlimited is a really great, like, starting point, and so many more KU authors are using that to get traditionally published or, like, have their books get picked up, and that's
Yeah.
really exciting.
It's cool. And I think it gives you more power, like more bargaining power as an author because you are bringing your own readership.
Mhm.
And I think you still get to keep it on KU. It depends on like what kind of deal you sign. Again, I know this because I have a friend that like works on this kind of stuff. But like, so you can still keep it on KU, but then they'll get your books in like Target and stuff like that. Like think like
Mhm.
Anna Huang, like her books are still on KU, but she has like BNN special editions. She has like all this stuff. So like, I think it gives you more like wiggle room because you could then also still be like releasing books on KU at the same time. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and it's really nice. It's nice if you started on KU to be able to, like, keep your books on KU for
Mhm.
that audience as well.
Yeah. Because I think so many people read KU and like use it. It's like if you're going to start off as an indie author, I don't see why you wouldn't be on it.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Thanks for joining, Lexi. You
Oh,
probably
thank
already tipped
you.
off. I meant I didn't like the audio of okay, got it. You gave the book 4 stars. Yeah. No, I agreed. I feel like the audiobooks were kind of a miss for me as well, which was big sad. Currently 80 pages into Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, liking it so far. I haven't read that one. I want to though.
It's so cool because it's like a different fantasy romance author like did each book with like a different creature that they're
Mhm.
slaying. So I think that's so fun. And I've seen like a few series like that. I definitely want to try those out.
Yeah, I agree. So cute that your Kindle's on your bookshelf.
I literally have like all my supplies for reading sprints over here. Just like I throw so many things on my bookshelf.
She's prepared. She's a prepared girly.
I don't know if I'm prepared. I think I'm more so a mess.
I also have a second book to read. Got sucked into Ice Planet Barbarians. I'm not ashamed. You shouldn't be ashamed. It's so
I
fun.
love a good Ice Planet Barbarian. I think I've read like 9 books so far, but I need to like pick it back up one day.
I've
I
only
want
read
to
the
read them all.
first 3. I was very hesitant about picking it up, and one of my friends who loves monster romance was like, "You need to read this series," and I regretted that it took me so long to
I know.
actually, like, read it.
It's so fun, but like I think you do kind of sometimes need to take time in between them because they can get like a little repetitive,
Yeah.
but it's just you're there for a fun time and I love, love, love the like new editions that are coming out.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to collect them.
Yeah. Started The Ashes and Starcurse King. Only read 10 pages, but I'm going to continue with it. Love that. I love that you committed to your decision. Reading Mockingjay to prepare for the new movie.
Best of luck. Have you read it before? Do you know the pain that is about to
I
become?
haven't. No, I
Oh, you
haven't.
haven't read The Hunger Games?
I read The Hunger Games, but I didn't read. Oh, Mockingjay. What's the new?
The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes?
Yeah,
I haven't read that one
I
either.
haven't read. Yeah,
I
I'm
think
probably
I'm
not
gonna
going to like continue with that series because I read Hunger Games in like high school.
yeah, I read it when I was like I remember I found The Hunger Games because Stephanie Myers of Twilight, I was obsessed with reading her blog, and she recommended the book on her blog, and that's how I found The Hunger
No
Games.
way.
And that's also how I became obsessed with Muse, which like they do Supermassive Black Hole, which is like playing during the baseball scene in the movie.
Mhm.
Because she like recommended them. She was like a super Muse fan. And that's how I found the band. And I'm like obsessed with them now. I've seen them 3 times. So
That's
it's like
so funny.
I know.
Finished a couple chapters and loving the witchy vibes. Okay, I'm glad you're liking it. I was nervous. It's one of those books that someone's gonna be like, "Why did you recommend this?" Or like, "I can see why this is a good time." Yes, I recommend Elsie Silver. I definitely have to pick her up. Chestnut Springs series is my fave.
It's so good. I just read which was the latest one that came out, and it was a secret baby romance, which normally I'm like not into pregnancy secret baby romances, but I was into that book. It was good.
Tea.
Yeah.
Hi, Cami. Thanks for joining. Some authors are allowed to keep the digital
Yeah.
publishing rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about the publishing industry just from these sprints.
I honestly, if you get me started on a topic, I am just a plethora of random facts.
I love it. No, I feel like I've learned a lot. And also, I feel like you and I are a good balance between like stuff that I've read and either you've read it or haven't got to it yet. And then there's
Yeah.
so much that you've read that I haven't read yet. So, like, going through the chat, we're like, oh, yeah, we've read this one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good. I feel like we've read like most things that people talk about. So.
All right. Are we ready for sprint number 2?
Yes, because
You want to get back?
something shocking just happened, and I skip forward a couple pages, and I think they're kissing. So like, I need to get back.
Okay, we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna do another 45 minutes. Happy reading, everybody. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How'd we do? How was the kissing scene?
Oh my god, it was good. There's like, just like when there's like a good setup of tension right from the start, so it's good. Because he thinks that she's his dead wife, and she's like, "Who are you?" Wait, but also, so she's like, there's also like an academia aspect. She's like at this coven, which is basically college, and they talk about how like when you're a witch, like you get more powerful with age. So like the crones are the most powerful, but then she goes, and like a crone is lecturing them, and she goes, "This one is more of a hag, HAG, a hot ass grandma."
Oh my gosh, that sounds so cute.
No, wait, it's actually kind of funny.
I love that. Wait, what's it called again? Bewitched?
Yes, by Laura Thalassa. Have you heard of Rhapsodic by her?
Yeah, I have. I haven't read it though.
Yeah, I read it a while ago, but when they released the Bloom editions, they did like a re-edit, so I don't know how much has changed or not. But yeah,
Oh.
it's like a fun like fae romance.
Yeah, I've definitely heard her name. Like, I think she's
Yeah,
rhapsodic. Like a lot of
she has like a decent amount of stuff.
yeah. Um, I am 80%. I have less than 100 pages left, so I think on our next sprint, I should be able to finish this book.
Oh, hell yeah. Actually, I feel like I don't usually do sprints a lot, but I feel like this is actually so helpful for reading. Like I'm getting so much reading done.
Yeah, I feel like when you think about 45 minutes, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a long time. But I feel like our last two sprints have gone by literally in
Yeah,
2 seconds.
also because usually when I'm reading, like I'm so distracted by like my phone, but because I'm on camera, I feel like I have to be reading. So
I
it's
hold you accountable. We all
it
hold each
really
other
does.
accountable.
Yeah. I'm on page 124 now, and I started on page 60, so I read like 64 pages.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Let us know how you guys did that sprint in the chat. How many pages did you read? How are you finding your books? I also just figured I would announce we had our vote in the Who Did This To You book club of what our September book pick was going to be. It's a like 3-day poll, but it ended today. And we're going to be reading Heavenly Bodies for September. And I'm so
So many
excited.
good things about that one. I was watching, I think it was a Raven Haired Reader's vlog where she was reading it. And I was like, okay, that sounds so good. Like so many people are talking about it. So
Yeah.
I
It's
actually
like,
just downloaded the app because you talked about it the other day. I have to join your book club.
yeah, join. It's linked in the description box as well in case any of y'all in the chat want to join us. Yeah, Heavenly Bodies. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it, but yeah, Rachel from Raven Haired Reader read it recently. Wow, that was a lot of our words.
I know.
But I trust her reading taste. Like her and I have very similar reading tastes, and she gave it 5 stars, and I was like, oh my gosh, I
I
can't
know.
wait to read it. It's
Oh,
like a sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just looking at the chat. Because Sarah said she's reading A Strange Hymn, which is I think that's part of the Rhapsodic series.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
I think it's the
Oh, yay.
second book. They're like all like music themes, like Rhapsodic, Strange Hymn. I don't even remember what the other one was. Dark Melody or something like that.
Yeah, Heavenly Bodies, it's like a fated love between this girl and a star, and in that world, the stars are gods. And she ends up having to like flee her realm because an enemy god like came down and started destroying everything. So she goes into this realm and it's like an enemy and he's like training her so that she'll be like powerful, and then she discovers that she has powers, and I've heard that she's like a shadow mommy.
Oh, love that. We need more Shadow Mommies.
I know, it sounds so good. I'm so excited.
So fun. I'm literally like on Fable right now, like trying to sign up for your book club. I don't think you can really see it.
Yeah, Fable was an app that I wasn't super familiar with, but a couple months ago I saw someone, I forget who it is, Hannah? Let me look at her book club. Heather McLary. She also has a book club on there. She's a
Mm.
booktuber and she's so funny and I love watching her vlogs. And her book club is on Fable called Distracting from Reality and they read like fantasy romance, contemporary romance, just like a lot of different things. And so I was like, what is Fable? It's kind of like a book club app, but I feel like they're really starting to develop it a bit more. I found that you can import all of your stuff from Goodreads. I did that recently, and I've started
Mm.
reviewing books on Fable. I'm not going to stop reviewing books on Goodreads, but I really like reviewing books on Fable a lot more because they give
Oh.
you half stars. They give you like taglines for when you rate a book, they give you emotes to like react. It was like, how did this book make you feel? And it's like angry, sad, like hard eyes,
Oh.
things. And then they give you taglines for like, how are the characters? And you have like these selections that you can pick from. There's also like trigger warnings that you can pick from. I just think they've done it really well. And I feel like they basically took everything that readers have wanted from Goodreads for a really long time
Mm.
and like put it
Yeah.
into Fable. So I'm curious how they're going to continue to
It
update it.
Yeah, it sounds similar to Storygraph, which it's
Yeah.
just so hard because everyone uses Goodreads, and Goodreads is, like, owned by Amazon, so, like, there's like, I feel like it's really hard,
Mhm.
1, because Goodreads has no competition, so they just don't have any motivation to change, and 2, like, it's really hard for, like, another app to, like, come up in the space. I think Storygraph is probably the one I've heard of the most besides,
Goodreads.
um, Goodreads, but I'm gonna definitely check out Fabled.
I like Storygraph because I love the graphs that it like makes for you.
Yeah,
I think it's really nice, especially for like year-end wrap-ups and stuff like that. It's so cool.
yeah.
But I saw a post recently about Goodreads where someone was talking about like this app literally looks like it was made in like the early 2000s and there haven't been any updates to it. And then I
No,
saw that they
literally.
posted like Amazon hasn't considered it a worthy investment to like continue to develop and update the app. So they kind of just don't. And that's so rude.
I'm about to have a chat with Jeff Bezos because what the hell? But, like, my problem is that, like, I just don't have the mental energy to, like, keep up with multiple apps at a
Yeah.
time. So, like, what I kept doing with Storygraph was I kept, like, importing everything, like, seeing graphs, and then, like, I would delete everything and then, like, re-import it so it had all my
Yes.
updates, and I just never kept up with it. But, like, I hate that I keep using Goodreads, but I hate that I can't, like, leave it for good.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I'm not gonna stop using Goodreads. I'm definitely gonna keep all my stuff on there, but I'm mainly using Fable for the book club. I think it's super, super fun.
Like, I think
Um,
Goodreads could have that if they tried.
if they wanted to, yeah, but
It
they
could
don't
be
want
so
to.
much greater than it is now.
I agree.
I'm like, at the half star, like, the argument for not having the half star for the longest time, they were like, "Oh, like, I don't know, they cited some sort of study about, like, half stars, but they were just basically saying that they were never gonna do it and, like, it wasn't worth it, but there are so many apps that I have for things that you can, like, rate things. Like, I have an app for wine, and you can
Mhm.
literally, like, rate the wine. It's, like, on a, like, little circle, and you could do, like, 4.372, like, if you feel like it. Like like, their arguments are so weak, like, we need half stars.
We don't need arguments and studies. Like, just give us the freaking half stars. Like, we just
Literally, like,
want them.
I've been
Oh my
using,
goodness.
Allie from oh my god, I'm gonna forget her, like, YouTube. But she has, like, this spreadsheet that she releases every year.
Mhm.
Is it paperback hardback order? Hardback order.
Yeah.
So I've been using that spreadsheet, and it, like, has all these built-in graphs. It's, like, super nice, and I love spreadsheets, so, like, that's what I'm gonna print out those graphs, like, at the end of the year to put in my bullet journal, and, like, sometimes I'll just pull that up at work when I wanna, like, look busy working on my book spreadsheet.
Just working on my book graphs.
Don't worry about my spreadsheet.
Oh my god, I love that. Um,
Ooh, you're flying.
yeah, you are flying through it. I love A Dowry of Blood. It's so good. I'm so glad you're loving it. Yay! So excited for Heavenly Bodies. Yeah. I feel like Fear the Flames was a bit of a hit or miss for people, and like understandably so. It's one of those fantasy romances where I don't think the writing was the strongest, but I'm really excited where like the plot is gonna go moving forward.
Is it only one book out at this point, or?
Yes. Yeah, only one book so far. No yawning allowed, Katie. Just kidding. Literally just finished Heavenly Bodies and you loved it. Oh my gosh. Sorry, my chat froze for a sec. For my next
Love
audio,
Hypothesis.
this is interesting. I mean, there's such different vibes. Are you in the mood for a thriller or a romance?
I'm always gonna say Allie Hazelwood, so I literally love her. So.
There you go, Holly. Katie says you need to read The Love Hypothesis.
It's the book that started it all.
Read Heavenly Bodies, give it 3.5. There are a couple plot points I didn't enjoy, but I think most fantasy romance readers will love it. So I feel like it's going to be a hit for the club. I'm excited for it. Love Hypothesis. Okay, second vote for Love Hypothesis. Started the Scarlet Princess. You use Storygraph instead of Goodreads now. I like Storygraphs. I feel like they have sometimes different summaries for books, and I find that the summaries on Storygraph are a lot better than the summaries that are on Goodreads.
But that's interesting because the summaries on Goodreads are the ones from the back of the book. So like where are they getting the summaries from?
I feel like some of them are just slightly different. It's not like a full completely different summary, but then it also has like trigger warnings.
Oh,
and
like
it has
those
like themes. It has like additional detail, I think. And Goodreads, you can get trigger warnings or find them in people's reviews, but
Yeah.
Storygraph just like has it underneath,
But
which
it's
is
like
good.
it's hard because then that puts like the responsibility like just on the reviewer instead of having it integrated into your platform is so much easier because then if people want to contribute to it, they can. But if people like don't know how to like do trigger warnings or something like that, like like the information is still there and available.
Yeah.
So there's just so many things I need Goodreads to improve.
I know. What genre is Scarlet Princess? I have to look that one up.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
The statistics on Storygraph is amazing. It brings out my nerd side. I totally agree. Let it go. It's free.
Oh, wait. I literally just saw this book on The Scarlet Princess. It literally popped up as like an ad or something like that for me the other day.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was just reading the summary for the series.
She looks like the girl from Brave, the princess from...
It does. It does.
A reckless princess, an enemy kingdom, and a mistake that could cost her everything.
Ooh.
Love that. Cute. I just got a Amazon notification because I ordered the physical copy for Heavenly Bodies and it has just arrived, which is very exciting. It's like perfect timing.
I literally have been wanting to just like go on Amazon and drain my bank account on books.
I know.
I'm trying to like restrain myself.
It's so dangerous. I've been so tired tracking my reading on 3 apps. It's a lot. It really is. I have my own series tracker spreadsheet, and 2 is enough for me. I feel like the spreadsheet game is, if you can like get into it or buy one or make your own, it's elite.
Yeah. It's honestly like it doesn't take too much time like once it's all set up. Like I had forgotten to fill it out from like basically February to now, and I caught up in like an hour where I just kind of sat down and typed it out.
Okay. Are we going to do you have time for one more sprint?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do one more. Is 45 minutes still okay? Or do you want to do a shorter one?
You froze.
Oh. Am I not frozen now?
Yeah, no, you're fine now. It was just like whatever you asked after, are you still okay?
Do you wanna do another 45 minutes, or would you like to do a shorter one, or stick
We'll
with
do like
45?
45. That works for me.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of reading done, so I'm hype.
Bank account is
No,
going
it is. It's like I'm like, "Oh, got a paycheck, time to go buy more books."
down. Okay, perfect. Oh, wait, what is this? I also use the Read app religiously. Every time I go to read, I open that app to do my reading session. Is that like a timer app? I'll have to look into it. It's very interesting. Okay, we were gonna do one more 45-minute sprint. I'm gonna run and go get Heavenly Bodies because I can't control my excitement. But happy reading, everyone.
You reading.
Hello,
Alrighty.
everyone. How
How
was that last sprint for you?
It was good. I'm up to page 186, which is actually like a lot now that I'm not distracted reading to
Yeah, that's awesome.
so this is so good. The tension is so good. There's also a really cool like familiar in here, and I'm just living for these vibes.
Oh my
And
gosh, I
it's like
love when I have a familiar.
and I don't like want to spoil what the familiar is, but it's a cool one that you like don't see that often. And it's like so interesting, like just the way it's written, it has me hooked because she like doesn't remember anything, and the guy that she woke up is like 2000 years old, and he thinks that she's his dead wife, and like but her like magic eats her memories, so like it's really unclear like what is happening, and I'm intrigued.
Interesting. It's kind of like an unreliable narrator situation.
Yeah, like I just think that she doesn't like know what's going on, and like clearly there's something like going
Mm,
on with her memories, because her every time she does magic she like forgets things, and I'm like, well, maybe this is why she doesn't remember that she's actually 2000 years old. I don't know.
yeah. When I
Or
read The Last Heir to Blackwood
oh, it's
Library,
black. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that book.
she, yeah, something similar happened. It's not magical, like she doesn't have magic to use, but it's something to do with like memories. And so she starts like writing to record what's going on, but it really created that unreliable narrator um setup, and it was so
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, there's a few books where it's like not necessarily unreliable narrator, but like doesn't remember a past life.
Mm,
And the books I've read, I've enjoyed it in, but it's so interesting, right? Because if you theoretically have lived this whole past life, that's like a lot of information that the reader doesn't know.
yeah.
So I think it's probably a tricky one to write, but I'm thinking of two particular books, but I don't want to say them because I don't want to spoil them,
Mm,
where I've enjoyed that trope.
yeah. I have 30 pages left of this book.
Oh my gosh, you're so close to
The
the
plot
end.
twist that I just read, I literally was like, oh my gosh. There's a reveal and I was not expecting it at all. This
Uh,
this has really surprised me. I'm debating whether or not it's going to be a 5 star. It might be like a 4.5,
well, I guess
but
you gotta
honestly,
read the
like
last 30 pages to know.
I know. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm so happy that that's kind of what I like ended up kicking off the readathon with.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually surprised how much I read on sprints.
I'm
So
glad that they've been so good for you because we
I
have
know
them
I'm
tomorrow on
happy.
Katie's channel.
We do have them on my channel tomorrow. I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Yep.
So be there, be square.
Yes. So we have those tomorrow. I also posted a bunch. I posted two new templates so that as you finish books for the readathon, you can update like your book tracker. And then I also did a page tracker because I know that some folks like that as well. So those are all on the Romantasy-a-thon Instagram as well if you want
Yeah.
those. But that was our last sprint. Let's see. How did everyone do? Oh my gosh. I love that you
My
finished.
stars.
You gave it
Yay.
5 stars as well.
I literally don't think I've ever heard a bad thing about that book.
It's so good. It's so emotional. Oh my gosh, it's just insane. And the writing is beautiful. Yeah,
I love
it's
a
a fan
good,
fave.
beautifully written book.
I love that a couple of us have already finished a book for the readathon. I'm
I
close.
think,
I'm this
yeah,
close.
I think when we get off, I'm gonna try and finish Feathers from the Sky, just because I
Mhm.
have, let's see how much I have left. I have, well, this is an arc, so it doesn't have a page count, but I'm at 78%, and it says I have an hour left, so I feel like I could just go lay in bed and finish
Oh,
that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you so much for sprinting with us. If you don't already follow and subscribe to Katie, go check her channel. She's so amazing. Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god. That's so many pages. You're killing it.
Oh my gosh. My brain could never.
That's
Oh my
iconic.
gosh, thank you so much. All right. We will catch y'all tomorrow. Make sure that you update your Instagram stories and stuff like that. Tag us, tag at Romantasy because I love to see them and I love to share them. And we'll talk to y'all soon.
Yeah. See you tomorrow on my channel. Bye, guys.
Bye.